A light blue beam of light is seen flying deep in space. It lands on a red planet, and as it turns out, it is a man in a fancy uniform named Captain Lightspeed. The hero is searching for an evil monster, but the monster finds him first. Hero and beast fight each other in what appears to be a popular video game called Planet Master. A teenage boy, Reed, who is dubbed Fearless, controls the hero Lightspeed. As the fight progresses, the hero calls in his adorable babies, saying that it is take your babies to work day kind of thing. As Reed's parents are away for the weekend, his mother gives him a call, reminding him about his science project and also to skip playing video games for a change. After vanquishing the monster in the video game, Reed and his avatar, Captain Lightspeed, encounter the evil boss, Dr. Arcanus, who desires to conquer every planet in the universe. Reed is thrilled to have finally found Dr. Arcanus, which means that he has reached the final level of the game. But to succeed, he has to leave the cute nuisances, meaning the babies, at a space station called Daycare. Captain Lightspeed, however, is concerned about leaving his kids there, but he doesn't have a choice. The babysitter applies special pacifiers that will help control the growing powers of the babies. As it is expected, Dr. Arcanus, accompanied by his trusty minion, Fleech, sneaks into the daycare and kidnaps Captain Lightspeed's children, the boys, Titus and Xander, and the girl, Kira. Arcanus notifies Lightspeed of the kidnapping and of how he is planning to harvest the powers of the babies for his own sake. He and Captain bicker, while Fleech is having a ridiculously hard time trying to make the babies behave. Eventually, he is thrown into space, and when the babies board an emergency vessel, the game informs Reed about the final level approaching, and if he is ready to accept the consequences. Reed doesn't fall for the gloominess of the message and carries on with the game. Yet as the vessel enters a wormhole, it suddenly appears on Earth and crushes just outside Reed's house. The U.S. Army, currently led by General Jane Blazerhatch, picks up this UFO reading and goes to investigate, while at the same time Dr. Arcanus finds out about the babies having escaped and goes on a hunt to bring them back. In the meantime, Melanie, Reed's schoolmate, drops by to work with him on their science project. It is obvious that Reed is not really into studying like Melanie, who wants to raise her grades. Soon enough, Captain Lightspeed's babies pop up and startle Reed. Melanie doesn't believe that they are the babies of a video game superhero, but agrees to babysit with him. Melanie prepares something for them to eat, whereas Reed is having the time of his life trying to cope with the superhero babies. Dr. Arcanus arrives shortly afterwards, and the U.S. Army gets quickly moving. Melanie witnesses now the power of the space babies and decides to help Reed out. Meanwhile, Captain Lightspeed searches for his kids in Dr. Arcanus's hideout. He smashes a bunch of evil robots, where he is trapped in a palladium cage and forced down into a maze, and mazes, unfortunately, are not his forte. On Earth, Dr. Arcanus unleashes several probe droids to locate the babies. As the morning comes, Reed finds the interplanetary communicator on Kira, and has a chat with Captain Lightspeed, who is trapped in the maze, asks from Reed to look after his babies and keep them safe from Dr. Arcanus's malice. He updates Reed and Melanie about the evil doctor and the pacifiers and lets them know that Dr. Arcanus is going to capture Earth if they don't do something about it. Just before he can get a hold on their exact location, charismatic Titus accidentally smashes the communicator and the connection is lost. Reed and Melanie take the babies and leave the house. General Jane is now giving orders, both military and culinary. She is such a badass character. Dr. Arcanus follows the trails left by the babies, who relax in Reed's family car, listening to a well-known Lionel Richie song. Coming across two soldiers, Reed and Melanie try in vain to slip by, when Titus gets out of the car and drives the military jeep back and forth, chasing one of the army men. The boy lifts the jeep above his head, and the soldiers watch in awe. In the meantime, General Jane and her men reach Reed's house, and there she learns about the freaky, dicky alien babies have been spotted close by. She gives the order that they are looking for infants of mass destruction. Reed and Melanie reach an idyllic spot in the countryside in order to hide. Melanie tries to fix the communicator, and Reed plays and laughs with the babies. Eventually, after Reed's suggestion, Xander, with his imaginative powers, helps Melanie to put the pieces of the communicator back together, but without the necessary juice to operate. At another point of the galaxy, Lightspeed is struggling in the maze. Dr. Arcanus monitors the town and calls a radio station where he threatens he will destroy Earth. But The producer congratulates him on requesting the latest success. Reed and Melanie discuss about their future plans, and Reed toys with the babies again. Poor Xander, though, gets scared by Reed's creepy peekaboo and flies inside a pink, bubbly pool toy. Captain Lightspeed encounters now baby monsters, and Reed and Melanie drive to fetch Xander back. Titus prevents a near accident with a truck on a bridge, but in the end of the truck, thankfully without the driver in it, falls off the cliff and explodes. The army, however, arrives soon and takes the babies. The area is sealed off, and General Jane interrogates Reed and Melanie, who mention gobbledygook things about a video game and the imminent conquest of Earth from a horrible alien. Dr. Arcanus, that is, who comes and starts freezing soldiers with his WoW laser gun. General Jane hears of this intrusion and leaves the teenagers alone, but Dr. Arcanus freezes her as well and takes the babies. Reed then feels hopeless, and so does Melanie. At the same time, Captain Lightspeed starts to have doubts as well, and wonders if he's ever going to get out of the maze. Reed says he wishes this was a video game, and Melanie suggests acting like he's in one. Reed begins to hope then and decides to go after Dr. Arcanus. Melanie comes with him using a military transceiver to make Lightspeed's communicator operational again. Reed takes a bike and Melanie contacts Lightspeed, who urges them to stop Dr. Arcanus. Reed drives the bike and manages to get inside Dr. Arcanus' ship along with Melanie. Soon, Lightspeed finds a way out of the maze and the soldiers on the bridge are unfreezed, whereupon General Jane realizes that Reed and Melanie were telling the truth. She decides to assist them. Dr. Arcanus begins now harvesting the baby's powers. He enters a special capsule, waiting for the powers to be transferred to his body via a microchip on his neck. Reed lays out the blueprint of sabotaging Dr. Arcanus' ship, while U.S. aircrafts pursue the alien ship and prepare to fire. Melanie finds the babies and Reed destroys the controls of the ship. Taking the babies with them in a safety pod, the alien ship is forced to land in the town. But it is too late. Dr. Arcanus has already taken the baby's powers, and he is now a powerful supervillain. General Jane opposes him with her troops, but with no effect. A wild fight begins now as a large Dr. Arcanus and his droids attack the soldiers. Seeing what is happening, Reed goes alone to save the day, driving an ice cream truck, something which enrages Dr. Arcanus. Threatening to kill the babies, brave Reed stands between them and Dr. Arcanus. The evil villain taunts the human boy and grabs him. The soldiers have surrendered now, and Dr. Arcanus begins crushing Reed. Kira, however, saves him by shooting purple laser from her eyes. Reed falls, but a magnified Titus saves him, and then crushes Dr. Arcanus' bots, one by one. Xander joins the fighting with the rest of his siblings, and Melanie and Reed drive the ice cream truck to help the army that fights back. Dr. Arcanus seizes the truck, and Reed notices the microchip on his neck. He calls in the babies to attack him and manage to take the chip off of him. Reed crushes the microchip under his foot, and Dr. Arcanus loses his stolen powers for good. He is put down by the babies, and then Captain Lightspeed comes. He hugs his kids, or rather, his kids hug him. Reed and Melanie talk about the crazy weekend they had together, and Captain Lightspeed hands them the transceiver, which they present as their science project later in school. Reed says goodbye to the babies and watches as Captain Lightspeed and his children fly away. A little while later, Reed and Melanie go out on a date, but they're interrupted when a monster appears in the yard. They're not scared though, and stand up together against this new menace. Thrilling film comes to an end. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. If you like this video, please consider subscribing to our channel. I'll be back with another interesting movie recap. Until then, take care.